Welcome to Healthy Dose. Learn to repair damage, replace key hormones, and regenerate your body. Get ready to take back control and reclaim your life. Now's the time. Here's your Healthy Dose.
Hey, we're back. Episode 34, Healthy Dose. How's everybody doing out there today? I'm back with Dr. Buzz and my good friend Anthony Mendez, MF Pro. Anthony, we got together again. It's been probably, what, you said 4 years?
Yeah, 2-3 years since we last spoke.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And just to give the rundown right now, MF Pro, a business that's blowing up. I'm reading this myself because I know you from the beginning. And when I see here, business coach, Puma athlete, you got your own podcast. It's called what? Sweat It Out Podcast?
Sweat It Out Podcast.
And where do people check you out on that?
So you can check me out on YouTube. We got our Instagram. We are also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, you name it,
So just
Google.
about everywhere.
So almost everywhere.
And then the best is yet to come. So listen to this. Recently been featured in Men's Health Magazine, Forbes, Entrepreneur, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance. You've done it all. And you're just starting.
I gotta say, it's one of those things where it's like you see these things, but it's just like, is this really happening? You know, and it's just like you can't. The way I say is like you take it for a day, you appreciate, you love it, because I think it's important to soak it in and allow yourself to see the opportunities that you've created and the success you've had, and then you gotta just keep moving from there. So celebrate one day your successes and then get back right on it.
You know what? I think a lot of people, when they hear like Men's Health Magazine, Forbes Entrepreneur, it could be a little intimidating because people are just starting. You know, I know you didn't start out there. You were grinding. I met you back in the gym. I think we said, was it 2014, 2014. Buzz, remember I told you I had joined this great gym, Equinox, out here in Coral Gables?
Equinox, yeah.
Yeah. And I was telling Anthony before the show, Buzz, like when my best friend Buzz, we met back in school, and Buzz has always been in shape, 6'4", booming voice, great personality. He used to carry a lunch sack with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he was always, always in shape. And I got into the gym, started working out. And Buzz, you remember in school I always hated doing cardio?
I remember legs.
Never worked the legs. So I was in Equinox and I was doing cardio, and I see this guy, roll out a step ladder, and he's doing all these flow movements. I didn't even know something called animal flow, and I guess this was like kind of when CrossFit was starting to take hold. And I see this guy, just big personality, but doing his own thing. Didn't even, had the headphones in. And Anthony, you were doing what we're starting to see these fitness trends like come out with now with Vipers. You were doing this years ago. And you started training clients, getting busier and busier. And so Equinox, at that time, a big gym, not easy to break into.
No, not easy.
Buzz, it's kind of a story of us, like how we started out, where kind of didn't know anybody. You have an opportunity to work with somebody for a while, and you got to take the step out on your own. It's a little bit scary. Anthony, you were in that situation. You started to get a little bit of traction at the gym, and so tell me about that.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it was one of those things. I'll take you way back. I started as a trainer when I was 17. I left playing football, and I told myself, hey, I need to do something. My mom used to be a step aerobics instructor for 24 years at Bally Total Fitness. Wow. Remember that one?
Of course.
So she got me my first job at Bally's. So I was at Bally's for a year, 17 years old, senior, football season's done. And I was just like, man, this is an opportunity to do something cool, and I first took it as a job, and I realized, I really love this. And then moving forward, I worked with LA Fitness, and then really I took the leap of faith to move to New York for about almost half a year to do Equinox Academy, because my cousin told me about it, because I really want to step my coaching level up. And I said, well, if I'm going to turn this into a career, I got to understand how to make myself a better coach, a better trainer, somebody who's going to drive more value, not just being here and being stuck in LA Fitness or Bally. So I took that leap of faith, went out there, learned, came back to Miami, and worked at Gables for about 3 years, and really learned a lot. Equinox is a great place that's going to teach you the foundational core things you need to know about personal training when it comes to like the body, the anatomy of it, and the business side of it. And it gives you that confidence to be able to go out there and also, close big deals when it comes to training packages. It's not just $40, $50 sessions. You're closing $150 sessions, $160 sessions. So they really do a good job in, helping you with all those different areas as you're building your own business, yourself as a coach, the education. I've learned a lot from them. That's where I really started molding myself and figuring out my other side of understanding a different world of coaching, more on the unconventional side, and that really sparked things up for me moving forward ahead.
Plus, we were talking before the show today. It reminded me of you. In the beginning, when we first got down here to Florida, you were working with someone, kind of learned the ropes, and maybe probably hit the ceiling a little faster than you thought you were going to at that practice. And then next thing I know, I get a call and you said, "Hey, drive up. We're moving out to Ohio."
And the U-Haul that broke down halfway there.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
And so, same type of thing. Buzz, how many practices are you working with right now?
I have 14 offices that I have ownership in.
It's amazing.
And CEO of Comprehensive Biologics. I was telling Anthony about the stem cells, but a really similar story where ultimately, when you're in any type of business or practice model, you're going to hit a ceiling. You're going to come to a big decision where either stay put or kind of take that leap of faith. It's never easy. It's always scary. There's always going to be another level, but you guys did it. Similar story for me. But Anthony, so you get there, get really busy over there, and then you took the leap of faith. And what did you go into after that?
So, for me, it was the whole ultimatum of, I was at Equinox building my Equinox business, and I built it pretty well, and I was happy, with what I was doing. But at the same time, I was also building my social media. I really saw Instagram as an opportunity, and I said, this is going to be the next driver. This is going to be the next big thing. This is where I got to put my attention in. I saw where some attention was being put in. I said, if I catch this early enough in the health and fitness scene down here in Miami, where it wasn't as big, it started popping off in California. Some of the fitness coaches were doing it more out there, but in Miami, it wasn't that big yet. There was only maybe 2 or 3. And I said, well, if I have the opportunity to use this tool to catapult me, well, I got to start doing it now before it gets saturated. And that's what I did with one of the other coaches there. We started shooting content, all that stuff. And then it got to the point where Equinox came to the point where they were seeing that, and they saw the level of growth I was getting. I think at one point, I think it was towards my last year of Equinox, I already was at like 70,000 followers on Instagram. So I was like, man, there's something going for me here. And it was going great. I wasn't planning on leaving Equinox yet. I was probably going to be there at least another year because I was learning so much and I enjoyed it. But it got to the point where they didn't agree with me putting effort into that, even though I was still doing well. And I said, you know what? I have to make a choice here, because they kind of gave me an ultimatum, like it's either Equinox or it's either your social media. And when they told me that, for a big company to tell me that, I was just like, I can either take it as like, man, I'm going to lose a good, decent career as a coach, or the reason why they're telling me this is because I'm doing something great on my own. And that kind of told me like I might have to take that leap of faith earlier than what I thought. And I took it. I saw it. I wrote a nice resignation letter. I thanked Equinox Academy thanked them for the opportunities. And I said, you know what? I got to go jump on my own. And then from there, kept rolling with Instagram, kept building that up, got an opportunity, signed with Puma as an athlete, which was amazing through the social media. Had a gym that I opened up with 2 other guys from Equinox for about a year and a half. And then we got with the whole encounter with the owner, sold his locations to another guy. They wanted a quadruple rent. We said, no, forget it. And that moment made me realize that the importance of me keeping that Instagram. So I never stopped doing my Instagram and social media just because I opened my gym. If anything, it helped support that. And I said, there's something special about this, because I'm still here surviving. And it was crazy because my 2 other guys had to immediately, my 2 other partners for the gym had to immediately try to like find a different studio, find a different inn. Instead of me doing that, I said, hold up, I can just rely on my social media. I don't need another place. And I said, there's something really special going on here. Yeah. And I just went full head steam. I did all my online fitness coaching. That business went really well. And then from there, right before COVID, literally like a month or 2 before COVID hit, I said, you know what? It's time for me to make a shift. I see where the industry is going with health and fitness. I see where social media is going. And I told myself, I want to be there when the explosion happens. And I made the shift to moving from fitness coaching to business coaching. And I said, what if I can teach the health and fitness professionals and the personal trainers how to be able to do what I'm doing and scale this past 6 figures or more using social media for their online business? So that's kind of where I'm at now. And that's my main focus with my MF Pro brand is to be able to help coaches to do that, is generate that wealth and be able to have more time and freedom to do their passion correctly and do it with a more intent, So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I think, Buzz, when I was talking to you about Anthony, what's really unique about this is people know Instagram right now. It's one of the first things they do when they wake up in the morning. But when you made it on Instagram, it wasn't a household name. You know, it wasn't a huge thing at the time. So if anything, it might be even easier with the right guidance, the right instruction to use that platform, you know, to be successful. And I know you've made the mistakes along the way.
100.
And Buzz, by the way, as I'm talking to Anthony, I feel like I'm also talking to you, because a very similar story with you, where you know, kind of took that step out on your own, and, you know, fast forward years later, you know, coaching many other doctors, lecturing around the country, your own stem cell lab too. A lot of hard work, but there's a lot of parallels between you know, business models and how this thing is working.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, Anthony took a lot of good chances and choices, and just, I mean, really, to make it, you got to go on your own and do your own thing sometimes.
Yeah, and it's not always going to work out. You know,
No.
like this is, you know, all these things that we're talking about. There are a lot of pitfalls, nights. Did I do the right thing? But you just keep persevering and going forward. What the interesting thing about COVID, now we're back on the air, is this took basically a general population where we're always worried about work, family, finances, and we never thought about, you know, a disease keeping us indoors, and it kind of changed the perspective about being able to survive. What are we going to do for income? Are we going to be able to get out? The health of the kids being stuck at home. So now fitness, athletics, you know, the healthy dose, talking to people about nutrition and exercise is even more important. So there's people out there that are listening, not only that they want to come and see you, but these coaches, now this is an opportunity. Everything went from gyms. We were talking about the gyms that we used to go to. There a lot of them are empty.
Yeah.
So there's
Or
a
closed.
huge platform now for people to get educated online, either themselves to start working out, but now about coaching, you know. So you had a lot of these high-level trainers. They've left these gyms of all kinds, LA Fitness, Equinox, some of these, you know, big gyms, and they're home.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to go through the same mistakes that you did, or take the time. What kind of a platform do you have set up for these individuals out there to take their businesses to the next level, or even get started in the business?
So the number one thing I'll say off the bat is that if you're a coach in today's world, you need to have diversity. You need to have your hands in different offers, not just in person. If you just have an in-person offer, you're going to die, you're going to lose. Not saying that it's a bad thing. I think in-person is great. It always needs to be there. But if you don't have your hands in the online or have a hybrid model, you're going to suffer a lot, especially moving forward. Last thing you want is another big thing to happen, or some other kind of thing to happen, and next you're put back in that space of like, crap, I'm only dependent on my in-person. So you got to be able to have multiple offers, especially in the online realm, and educate yourself in it. And then I would say, most importantly with that as well, is diversify the way that you coach as well, because I think there's a lot of coaches out there where, at least for me, it favored where, you know, and I've worked with a lot of the ones that they're seeing how their style favored then when it comes to the unconventional methods, when it comes to the body weight training or a kettlebell trainer, a single portable tool. That really helps with the time frame we're in, because think about it, if you're only used to the traditional machines and weightlifting and all that stuff as a coach, that sets you back. Where the COVID, it's like people don't always have that equipment at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you don't even have it at home as a coach. And now that's what you can only teach. You can't really teach it now. So understanding that you might want to expand your coaching methods and philosophy and learn other skill sets along the way of body weight training, using portable tools like the kettlebell, the mace, the TRX, the battle ropes, the sandbags, because now it's open game. Now you can also create these videos or teach them over live with a client. It's going to be cheaper for them. It's going to be a different experience. It's going to be easier because you don't need that much space around you, and you can actually get the job done. You know, so I think understanding as a coach, you want to open up your portfolio of what skill sets you might want to introduce into your portfolio, and then the fact you got to get online.
Do you think it's important that, you know, there's people out there, I know in our profession, but the trainers, that they think they have to be certified in each one of these techniques before they could bring it out to their clients? Do you think it's important that you be certified as a kettlebell instructor, as a mace instructor, or if you have a good working knowledge of the human body, basic anatomy, nutrition, that you could help your clients even so?
So with the whole thing with certification, I'll tell you off the bat, there's coaches who are young, there's coaches who are learning the game, and they might not have necessarily the money to pay for a lot of these certs because they are expensive. My biggest thing is, if you don't have the money to pay for the cert, find somebody who's already taken it, find somebody who's really good at it, and mentor with them. Shadow them, learn from them, master it yourself, and then teach it. Even if you don't have the cert, you necessarily don't need the cert to teach the specialty of that course. Now, you do need a personal trainer's national certification that represents you as a personal trainer, but the specialty certs is just to show more of that you've completed that accomplishment. but you can be teaching. If you learn that skill set from somebody else and you've done it over and over again, you got really good at it, doesn't mean you need a cert. There could be another guy who comes in here who's never done it before, takes a cert, and now he's certified, but you've been doing it for 2 years, not certified. Right there, it goes to show you don't need the cert. So don't use that, guys, as a coach. Don't use that excuse, as a crutch to say, well, I can't teach it because I don't have a cert. No, forget that. Like, learn, and then when you have enough money and you want to get the cert because you want to say, hey, I got the cert, then do it. But don't hold yourself back because you can't afford the cert.
Buzz, we've talked about this so many times as we've been going through, education, learning over the years. To some degree, you have to be good. You ultimately have to be able to back up what you do and what you say. But it doesn't matter in the beginning that you're best. It matters that you're first, right? That you take the step, bring the new service center into the practice, whatever it may be. Athletic training, online coaching. You've been always excelled at that too, Buzz. I think it's such a great show that we're doing today because you and Anthony have so much in common about being first in the field and being regarded because you have something to back it up. Buzz, you remember that book, The E-Myth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Gerber.
So here's a cool thing. We were talking to Anthony that people who haven't read this book, I can't remember the author's name, but the E-Myth is called the entrepreneur's myth, and it just says that if you're good doing one thing, like they mentioned in the book, being a stylist, you can give the best haircuts, you make people feel great about themselves, you become really successful. So much so that you say, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own and open this business. And you go to open the business, and before not, you realize that you fail. It happens to a lot of people. Just because you're good at doing something, it doesn't mean that you're good at running a business. Yeah. And I think to some degree, being first helps you get your foot in the door, but you got to have, like we said earlier, something to back it up. Being first into this field, Buzz, like we were telling Anthony about the stem cells, getting into that field as well. Like, I want to go to you, Buzz. What's one piece of advice that you would give a new business owner that wants to get into the field, but basically is coming from non-existence? How did it? Is it come up with the idea? Is it come up with a specialty? Let's keep it with doctors right now and stem cells. People that want to get into the field of health and healing, bringing a new service center into their practice. But they don't know enough about stem cells. They don't know about these tissue grafts that can change people's lives. What would you say to people like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he nailed it right on the head. Find a mentor or find someone else who's doing it well and be trained or learn from them. Obviously, things that are complicated like training or certain medical procedures, you can't just wing it because it's not going to work out. So, find someone else in that space who's really good at it and learn from them. That's the best way to do it. That's even, in my opinion, better than a certification.
Yeah, I agree. And Anthony, so there's coaches out there, like you said, a whole market of people that have the ability to take something to another level, let alone the next level. They've been these long-term trainers, but they don't even have the footprint in social media. Mm-hmm. The company, the work that you're developing right now, does it take them through, I won't say step by step, but does it give them a platform on how to create a social media account, how to diversify get into kettlebell mace training? You have that advice for these new trainers as well?
So with my system, basically what I really focus on is providing them that blueprint of how to actually run that online business using social media as a tool. And I take them step by step from literally the beginning. My first thing I always start with is mindset and high performing schedule. So I'm a big believer, if you don't have the right mindset and you don't have the right schedule in place, the rest of the tools are done. Right? So it's like a football team. If you don't have the linemen, your sexy players are not going to make the plays. So I tell people, you got to have a strong mindset, you got to have a strong schedule, and then the sexy tools will come into effect. But with that being said, it's more of the actual giving them the tools to actually run the business. So most of the people that I'm reaching out to already might already have a presence on social media or just started, or their coaches have been on it and they just can't connect the dots. Here you go. So most of when I do my hunting, I look for people who are already on social media, but they just need the help to actually grow it and grow their online business. And then I have the system, the blueprint to help them do that. And that's what I've seen. The biggest thing is that most of the time people are on it already because they know about it. They just don't know how to utilize it correctly for their own business and actually make good use of it. And that's where I've seen most of the problem. And then going back to another thing that you were saying, like, people being, I guess, kind of scared to jump in or not moving fast enough. Something I teach all the time when it comes to the mindset, I'm like, speed rewards success. So the faster you move, the quicker you are going to get to success. And then that's where imperfect actions leads to success. So you want to make imperfect actions because when you can make those mistakes and learn from them faster than somebody else, it's going to get you closer to where you want to be. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to experiment and it not work, but eventually it will work. And eventually you'll figure out what you need to do. And when you go through that, that's where you see the success happens. And I think most coaches, at least I'm talking about coaches and people in general, that's where they have a lot of those problems, is that they're too scared because either A, they have the imposter syndrome, they're too scared because they feel they don't have enough information, they feel like a fraud, that they're going to put themselves out there and I don't know what I'm going to talk about, or they're self-doubting themselves, thinking they're not good enough. Also, too, the fact of infobesity. That's one of my favorite words to use, is they think that they need to have more information than they already have to get started, right? So these are people who just want to feed themselves info. I keep getting all these courses, I'm getting all this information, but I never do anything with it because I feel like I still don't have enough info, right? So those are some of the biggest things that I've seen, and I try to work with them to get over that so they can understand. It's like, guys, it's just putting yourself out there, giving yourself that chance, and actually taking the action. So don't worry about the perfection. Worry about the fact that start with what you have, because what you have is plenty, and that's more than enough to get you started. And that's where I see most of the coaches have the problem, is the mindset portion and then the accountability to actually keep it going.
Did you find that in working with coaches it was really similar to when you were working with your clients, that you had some that just take right to it,
100%.
Just a little bit of push along the way and then they get into that great shape, but then the other ones. So what do you do like when you have lots of clients, or when now you have these coaches that you're working with, to not get bogged down, to not have just what you were talking about, the fear of failure, because you want every one of your clients to succeed? How do you keep moving forward? What drives you, to build this brand right now?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess in the sense of like helping the clients and the coaches out when it comes to the actual fear of failure and all that stuff, it's more about like I address a lot of these things in our one-on-one calls, in our group trainings as well, and I always readdress to see where they're at first. So I always have like my tracker sheet or my accountability sheet when it comes to them, and I kind of see every single time I start off with like, how are they doing? How are they feeling? Where are you at right now? How's your headspace? How's your day today? How's this week been? Before even diving into their business, I want to know more about how they're doing personally, because what I've come to see too is that most of these things come out of a place that's not even in their business, is coming outside of their business. And many things could be things that are from their childhood, deep rooted. It could be things that have nothing to do with where they are now, but has to do with things from their past. Keep in mind, if it's something that's not in my scope, might have to refer in, hey, you might need some help from a therapist if it's a really deep, dark place that you're in, before even working with me. But if it's something more surface level, it's more about how can we figure out tools and ways to address these issues so that way we can get them out of the way so we can focus on your business. And for me, something I've learned the last year to year and a half especially is like, you have your 4 pillars, right? So I talked to my coach and I'm like, we have our 4 pillars. Our 4 pillars of priority is health, self-care, family, and business. And I put it in that order because that order is important. So what I mean by that is you have to take care of your health, right? Number 1, so making sure you're moving your mind, you're moving your body, you're moving your soul, making sure that you're paying attention to your health, you're eating well. And then number 2 is your self-care, right? So your self-care is dating yourself. So what are you doing for yourself on a weekly basis? Are you taking yourself out on a date? Meaning, are you taking yourself to do something you love, a hobby? Are you going to go play basketball? Maybe that's what you want to do for an hour. Just you by yourself, or with other people, but not people in the sense of your family, friends, something for you. Maybe you take yourself out to eat and you just want to enjoy something by yourself. Maybe you want to go on a walk by yourself. But having that me time is super important. And then your family. Family could be your immediate family, your kids, or it could be the fact if you don't have kids, it could be your parents, it could be cousins, it could be your friends. Are you making time for that? And even if they don't live here, are you sending them a message saying, hey, I love you, I'm thinking about you, how you been? Or maybe you get on a Zoom chat. But when you start doing those things, you best believe that helps a lot of times with the disconnect between how you're performing with your business. And then when you realize that you can take care of those 3, your business starts coming into higher performance. And it's like, the way I explain it's like having a table, right? You have a table with 4 legs. Yeah. So you have one leg is health, one leg is self-care, one leg is family, one leg is business. If you take out one leg, the table might still stand, but if I come over and give it a little push, it's going to fall. If you take out 2 legs, it's going to be on its side, 1 toppled over, none at all. It's a tabletop. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 to no legs, you want all 4 legs to be strong. So my whole thing is, how can we make you successful on all levels so that way you're a successful performer in your business?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Buzz, that the self-care, that's you to a T as well, right?
I mean, I think we've both done a good job, Joe, and obviously Anthony has also. Like, just not, and self care is not just physical, but it's also mental. Trying to stay up on stuff, reading a book, listen to motivational things. You got to keep yourself in a good state if you want to help others. And what Anthony's doing is not only is he helping the people he's training, he's helping thousands of people by getting these trainers to do the right thing and expand that business, which is amazing.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And we'd be remiss not to talk about relationships. That you have to. I think the point that you make is giving time to yourself. Whether it's an hour a day, whether it's meditation, working out, whatever it may be, is because things are going to change with your clients. You're going to have ups and downs with personal relationships, and it's not always easy to stay the course. You can't rely on other people or other things to be a crutch, which can happen more often than not. So what really drives you now? What are some of your goals, Anthony, coming up in the next year, 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to go?
So for me, in the next 5 years, with the MF Pro system and method, I really want to take this to the point where I can also create a software that can house the coaches to be able to run their whole business through there, like the videos, there's live streamings, all that stuff. So that way, they don't have to refer them out to like a True Coach platform or Trainerized platform. It's more like, okay, now I have an MF Pro hosting platform where you can also host your workouts and run your whole business through there, plus get the actual coaching to actually scale it, make money from it online with what I'm doing now, and then have that component. And then also to another thing that we realize that a lot of coaches are lacking when once they finish my program, now that they're getting the speed and they're actually making money, one of the things I'm realizing now that they're really needing help with is, okay, great, now we need to start moving into thinking about building a team for you so you can start creating more freedom for yourself. So one of the things I'm adding to my thing is how to build a team now. So how to build your first team, how to hire salespeople, how to hire a marketing team, how to hire a VA, how to be able to get another coach to help you, understanding CRMs, KPIs, all that stuff. So that's something we're working now and adding that with the coaches that finished my first Premier program. So I'm creating a 2.0 because that's what they're missing now moving forward. And I want to make sure that they're left off with the great information. And we're going to build those things for them. So my backend guy, we're also thinking about actually building the CRMs for them. So that way they're ready to go, all white labeled to their own brand, colors, everything. Yeah. And we can actually now keep the maintenance part of like, hey, now you have a monthly fee to keep the CRM active. We keep it maintained for you, any blips, all that stuff. So now we want to go above and beyond and actually like take care of you with the actual scaling part of your business, because it's great now that you're making the money, but let's scale you if that's what your goal is. And obviously everybody's goal is different, but if you want to scale, we have that scaling component to help you do that.
It sounds like the 3.0 might be even like cross-platform other businesses, because this model will work not just with coaching and training, but any business.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So it's Anthony, to see what you've done in the last couple of years and to see the success is amazing. What do you do to de-stress, to take care of yourself? What are some of your hobbies, things that you're really liking to do now?
So I'd say I think we can all agree that working out's in our blood and we love it. So it's always a de-stressor. But I would say away from that, since we're always working out, I would say definitely love to get every now and then and play a game of basketball. For me, that's fun. I'm actually trying to make the habit of getting back into it consistently again. So getting at least a game in a week of basketball, or just literally going to a park or going to the beach and just literally just walking around, getting some fresh air, maybe getting a meal with it. I usually like to either get like a iced coffee or like a smoothie and just walk around the park or the beach, do some laps, maybe plug into some music or self-development, and just be outside. That's one of my favorite ways to do it too. So what I tell people all the time, I think we sometimes make it overly complicated to say like, oh, we have to do all this meditation, all these crazy things to de-stress. And de-stressing could just be as simply as just going outside and walking around, just breathing. So sometimes we overcomplicate it because we hear all these new methods and all this stuff. And I'm not saying they're not great, they're great. But for somebody starting off, just go outside. Just go outside. That simply can be a de-stress. You removed yourself out of the environment you've been in all day, and now you're changing your physiological state. So now you're going to feel better. So when you approach your day again, or you approach whatever you're going to approach, you're in a different completely level, mindset-wise and physically as well. So that's what I look at it. Working with the simplicity of it, because that can go a long way.
Yeah. So Buzz, what's happening on your end this week?
Yeah, we're just down here at the lab doing a bunch of compliance stuff. have a new product we're going to be coming out real soon. I can't tell you about it, but it's top secret. But it's going to be real good and it's going to help a lot of people.
Now I want to know.
Yeah, you know, the next time we get together, we'll talk about some of the injuries that we've all had, but still managed to keep going. I remember, Anthony, way back when, you know, you told me you were a running back, had some pretty serious injuries, and the type of work that you're doing now to be able to, you know, continue doing it, the physical nature of the way that you train all these years later to still be doing it at a high level is pretty amazing. So that's going to be MF Pro 2.0.
There we go. I'm excited.
But Buzz, my friend, always great talking to you. We'll catch up for our next episode. And Anthony, you have such a big platform, but how do people find you? Where do they go to look for you on social media, website?
100%. So first of all, thank you guys. I really appreciate your guys' time. This has been amazing, and just being able to learn from you guys, and hopefully, you know, your audience can get a lot of value out of what we talked about today as well. People can reach out to me. Instagram's my biggest platform, at Mendez Fitness. I will DM you back, so don't worry. I don't bite. So you can also find me on my YouTube, Mendez Fitness. You can also find me or email me at anthony@mendezfitness.com. You can also find our podcast, Sweat It Out Podcast, on YouTube and all the other platforms I mentioned at the beginning. But that's our main one, in Apple Podcasts as well. And yeah, if you want to connect with me, don't hesitate. I will reply, like I said, and I'm excited. And to just leave it off with something, I always love to wrap it up with this, is I always tell people all the time is, if the world doesn't stop for you, why are you going to stop for the world? You got to keep on moving.
Yeah, I love it. We're going to put all those links down in our in the links below. Like, subscribe. Buzz, they're going to check you out at BUCKEYE PMR. Where else, Buzz? What's the best way to get in touch with you about questions about stem cell products, doctors wanting to break into the field?
Probably email me, the best thing to do is just drbuzzk@gmail.com. So drbuzzk@gmail.com.
Awesome. And they could always find us. I'm Dr. Joe. APMRmiami.com is the best way. APMR is a way to find us on Instagram. So we're going to be back next week with another healthy dose. Anthony, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Great seeing you. We'll catch up next time.
Thank you, Buzz. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony. Thank you, man.
Bye, Buzz. Yep.
Thank you for joining us. This has been your Healthy Dose. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like and subscribe button before you go. We appreciate your support. For more information, recaps on previous episodes, and to find out what's next, follow us on Instagram at Healthy Dose Show. Remember, repair, replace, and regenerate. See you next time.